Does to tell us we're started. And we are now recording.
The meeting will come to order. The first order of business will be the land acknowledgement, which I'll read. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. Today, we are here to do work of the Seattle Civil Service Commission, whose responsibility is to ensure that Seattle City's workforce reflects the shared values of this community, respect for the indigenous people, and committed to holding each other accountable. Our next order of business will be introductions. I'll begin with myself. My name is Commissioner Ray Caesar, employee elected commissioner and the chair of the Civil Service Commission.
I am Mary Wyland Williams. I am the mayoral appointed commissioner.
Oh, yes. My name is Andrea Shealy. I'm the executive director of the Civil Service Commission.
I'm Teresa Jacobs, the executive assistant of the Civil Service Commission.
Sarah Butler, operations and policy advisor to the Civil Service Commission.
I'm Joe Levan, the legal counsel for the Civil Service Commission.
I'd like to go back, and today's date is September 16th, and it's 2 o'clock at the start of this meeting. Our next order of business, public comment. Hearing none, seeing none.
And there was none submitted in writing.
The next order of business is the approval of the minutes from August the 19th that's been distributed. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
I have no corrections, and hearing none other, I would make a motion that the minutes be approved as written and presented.
Motion is presented, and there's my second. Any questions? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted as been sent. Our next order of business will be any current action items or executive session.
Andrea Shealy, I do not think that we have a need for, there are no action items, and I don't know of any need for executive session today.
The next order of business will be an update from Director Shelley.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair Caesar. It's nice to see everyone here today. I want to introduce Robbie Pennington. We have him on the line from IT. Hi, Robbie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. So you all know we're all here in person. Robbie, you are one online participant today, but we occasionally do have commissioners or other guests who need to attend online. And thank you all for being here today. We have had a couple of issues with hacking in some of our Civil Service Commission meetings recently, and those have been quite disrupted. And so our staff went and talked to the IT department, and Robbie's our contact there. And he set us up with this new tool. It's actually sort of Robbie will explain, but it's a new facet of an old tool that we've been using for some time, Teams. And I asked Robbie to come here today and talk to you a little bit about it and how it will help us address, hopefully eliminate the problems that we've been having in the future, but still facilitate this conversation and allow public comment, and also allow you all and our legal counsel, if y'all have any questions for Robbie. I knew that I and Sarah and Teresa were probably not the right people to answer any technical problems. So thank you, Robbie. Would you be willing to just tell us a little bit about Teams Town Hall and why you recommended it to the commission for use?
Yeah, so in my experience, things like collaborative meetings that like typical Teams or WebEx You do find situations where, you know, people maliciously are doing what was happening to you guys, or unintentionally, you know, accidentally leaving their microphone on, leaving their camera on. You know, you're giving a lot of power to people that are kind of there to listen and to cooperate in a more controlled space, which is exactly what this is. This essentially, town hall is a means of one talking to many or a few talking to many, and then giving that ability to allow them to still interact and things like that. But this is just I find a better way of controlling the you know, the nature of what this is, you know, the more communicative style than a collaborative meeting. Like I said before, just, you know, there's more means of issues that way compared to something like this, which is more controlled and meant to be focused on kind of what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. And in consulting with Robbie, some of the things that were important to us was that commissioners certainly be able to participate, that a remote option be available, and that the public be able to participate too. And with some, as Robbie was mentioning, a little bit of controls around that. We don't control the content, of course, of the public's participation, but it is okay to ask people to use this other tool. So, Robbie, can you give us a couple of the highlights of oh, let me add also, the reason we were using WebEx in the first place, just a little historical background, is that when the pandemic first began, you probably remember this, we all had to go online very quickly. And the tool that the city had available that could also be utilized by the public was WebEx. Teams was not available for public interaction at that time. Since that time, Microsoft has updated its product and the city has updated its license. So that now the public can use this tool, Teams and Town Hall, just that version of Teams or that sort of functionality of Teams, just as well as they can in WebEx. So this is probably the option we would have picked from the very beginning had it been available to us.
So Commissioner Wells just texted that she can see us, but she's not sure we can see her. So maybe that would be a good test for the technical aspect of Robbie, your explanation of how this tool works for us.
Commissioner Wells is I'll give a status update on her appointment later on. She's going to be a commissioner with us, although she's not been approved by the full council yet. And she did receive a copy of the invitation, but was she made a participant or no?
She should have been
A presenter. Let's see, can we see her over here when you scroll between 1 and 2 on right below Robbie's face in the lower left? Can we see her? I see Anne. I wonder if she's joined as a viewer rather than a participant.
She does have an external email address,
Which shouldn't be a
but I
problem.
put her in as,
I see her as a guest. The meeting. I can.
Was she going to present today, or just
I didn't anticipate that she would.
so she could see what's happening?
So as long as she can see what's happening, she said she could see us, she just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So her.
I don't think we need to problem solve it,
Yeah.
just as much as it helps us to know
Yeah.
how the tool works.
And I do see that one attendee is watching, and that is very likely
So I think-
Denise Wells. Hi, Denise. So if she were joined as a participant, she'd show up on that left screen that we can see here in the room. And then we could toggle over to let her join the bigger screen, and then she would be able to present or speak to us. So surely there are going to be some bumps. I don't know whether this is one or not, but we're certainly going to have some bumps. And we'll just work them out as we go. Our plan for public comment, because that's sort of where I see is the biggest change, is that people, you know, for better and for worse, people won't be able to sort of jump into the meeting at any point, you know, without us sort of giving them access to it. And we've been consulting with the law department on how to ensure that we're not just following the law, but I know that one of the values of this commission is accessibility, transparency, participation. So we want to make sure that we have a robust way for participants to give public comment. And we're doing the same thing for the Public Safety Civil Service Commission. And so there are two ways that people can give public comment. This is, and I'd like us to have a discussion about this, if you're up for it, if you want to. But the two ways that we propose to do public comment, the way we've set this meeting up today, is two ways to give public comment. One, people can come in person and be here and give us in-person public comment in real time. And the other way is to submit public comment in writing to the commission ahead of the meeting. We have instructions about how to do that on the website. As more meetings happen, people will be able to do that more. And we think that I think that strikes a balance between being able to receive public comment and also have some control and not have people taking over our meeting or jumping in with public comment during a time that isn't public comment, which hasn't been a problem for this commission, but it has for our other commission as well. And I'd love to hear if anyone has thoughts about that, if that meets what you think the needs of the commission are, the interests of the commission are.
Well, I just have a clarifying question. So if a public commenter sends their email, their comment in writing via email, and then wants to still participate in the meeting, they can do so, but they can't like expound on that public comment.
Someone could submit public comment in writing, yes, definitely, and they could come to the meeting in person. We don't,
but not virtually. I guess my question is virtually.
That's right. We can invite guests if we had a guest speaker, if we had, Rita. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her last name right now, but remember the speaker from SHR. We can invite those kinds of people to either virtual or in person. But right, we're not going to be able to engage in like a conversation for public comment, which
it's not the intent of public comment.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And just as a legal matter, we've been over this before with the Open Public Meetings Act and the way that it applies. But it's important just for the record that these meetings are your meetings, that they're the commission meetings for you to conduct your business, and the public participation is very important, but the participation is to be able to view what you're doing, and then if you allow it for the public to have the ability to provide public comment. So the way to, and this is the legislature in recent years made some changes to clarify this, but it's always appropriate for anyone, obviously, to provide written public comment to you all about matters on the agenda or otherwise. They can do that via email, for example, or if letters comes into the commission staff, they can provide those to you. And then also the requirement actually under the Open Public Meetings Act for in-person or for public comment related to items on the agenda. First of all, you can restrict it to items on the agenda. Sometimes other governing bodies don't necessarily do that because you may want to just hear from someone about some other topic that's not right on the agenda, but you can limit that to that. Also, the way the OPMA is set up is that it talks about requiring public comment for matters that if you're going to take final action in a regular meeting, and all that's important because these meetings that you have on a regular schedule are regular meetings, but you could at times have special meetings, so it doesn't apply to special meetings. You certainly can take public comment at special meetings, but you don't have to. And then also the final action is important also because that relates to basically voting. It's not necessarily only on voting, but that's kind of what it is most directed at. If you're going to vote on something, then the public needs to be given the opportunity to make public comment related to that, which makes sense. But if you just had a session where you're just discussing matters, you're not voting on anything, then that wouldn't necessarily apply. But I think your practice has been, which is really good in terms of transparency and just communication, to allow for public comment in regular meetings. Just that's what the commission's always done, which is great. Not always, but it's what you've done. It's longstanding practice, which is good. And those you don't need to be as restrictive as what's in the Open Public Meetings Act. You can allow for more. But this new technology, it's unfortunate that there have been some malicious attacks that has led to some rethinking about this. But I think was looked at as an opportunity to kind of refine the technology and to allow for, you know, not just, as Andrew said, not just meeting the requirements of the OPMA, but meeting the spirit, right, of your commission. So, and it is a work in progress. So if you get feedback that to reconsider parts of this or do things a little bit differently, I'm sure Andrew is always open to those comments and how best to do this. And thank you to the IT staff for helping out, because it really does take a village to try to work through these things. It's not that easy. But if you have any questions about any of the legal parameters, just let me know. We can talk through those.
I have a question. So public comment. It's never been done even before, like a webinar, unless a webinar or even this program Teams. They never could participate digitally, I guess.
No, but they
in the
could.
past, but they could.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of how our hacker person was participating, was the same way people give public comment, is they would just speak, just like you're on the Teams call for your regular work day. And so we would also love to do, what the city council does, which is have remote people virtually giving public comment. However, since we're such a small staff, the city council has a whole staff that does this sort of thing, and they have people sign up and they have people letting people in and out of the room, and they do a pre-meeting. We just don't have the resources to be able to do that kind of thing. And so this may not be the perfect solution, like Joe said. So please give us feedback. We might get public feedback. I don't know how many, maybe Denise has a suggestion and has seen this kind of thing before. We're totally open to, iteration, but this is what we're going to give a shot and see how it goes. And we believe we are meeting the requirements of the law. And as Joe said very nicely, I think we also want to make sure we make the spirit and match the values of the commission.
It feels like a really good place to start anyway.
Yeah.
I appreciate all the work that's gone into helping us resolve the issue, or at least come up with strategies to try.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, I think technology has come a long way. And frankly, it's a little surprising that it took people this long to sort of figure out we were here. But now that they have, it's a good opportunity to sort of learn some new things and refine our processes.
And the commission's website has been updated. It may continue to be updated. Again, if we get feedback to say this is not totally clear on what this means, we try to make it as clear as possible and kind of short and sweet as possible, so people can go to the website and they can see what the options are for how to submit public comment. And of course, we certainly encourage you, which I'm sure you already do anyway, if you receive what we've asked the commenters to do, just to make it clear say they send an email that's for public comment, that they put in the ray line or the subject line public comment. So then staff can distribute that to you all at least 24 hours before the meeting. And of course, encourage you all to read that public comment. And there's what happens with that is up to you. If you want to address any kind of public comment during the meeting, you can, but you don't have to. It's up to you. But that's the idea, is that if it comes in writing, it'll be distributed to you at least 24 hours before the meeting. And then if people come in person, there is a sign-up sheet. And the reason for the sign-up sheet is to allow people to sign up so they go in order based on when they sign up. You give them an appropriate amount of time, whatever it's 2 or 3 minutes, however you want to decide what you all want to do with that. It's not, sign-up sheet is not, some people may not want to give their name, and you can't require them to give their name. Because some people may have an issue with, somebody, like some kind of harassment or otherwise from somebody in the public. So, but they can give some way to identify them on the sheet so that they can talk, and they also can be required to, for example, write their address or anything like that. It's just a sign-up sheet so that you put them in order for speaking. And this, for future discussion, maybe at the retreat or something, you can talk more through about how you want to do, if you want to limit public comment what's on the agenda only, or you want to broader. It's up to you, and how you want to handle these things going forward. But this is meant to be a good transition to something new to address the malicious situation, and then make it a work in progress so it can be improved as things go forward.
I have one final question. So if someone sends the public comment in writing, do we need to read it into the record of the meeting? I heard you say we didn't have to.
No. It just, the idea
as long
is,
as we see it and review it.
yeah, what the Open Public Meeting Act says that can be instructed to be provided in writing to within a reasonable time. And so what we're starting with, based on what Andrea thought would be a good practice, and this is up to you, you're the commission, you decide, but for now, 24 hours in advance of the meeting is when the public comment will come in, because at this point, then it needs to be, will be distributed to you, when at least we have to review, and then again, you decide what you want to do with it. Maybe there's something comes in you want to talk about, you can certainly do that, but you don't have to do that. It's up to you.
And probably what we'll do, we didn't receive any public comment for this meeting in writing, but probably what we'll do that is, as it comes in, we'll just forward it to you. Instead of trying to do a digest or something like that. But we did ask that people put public comment in the subject line, but if it's obviously public comment, we will also forward that.
Thank you.
And that's to give the public notice too, that say they submit public comment right before the meeting, that there's it may be that you didn't get it, because staff will be distributing that as it is now, because there's just kind of a general email account. So we'll be distributed to you, but if there's no guarantee if it's not within that 24 hours, you're going to get it, you have a chance to read it. So that's kind of it too. It's not just a matter of what's reasonable there. The idea is that you have enough time to actually read it and digest it before you come to a meeting, so you're prepared.
Since our meetings are typically on Monday, we might tweak that. That might not work very well. We'll just have to see how it goes. Also, if I log in Monday morning before the meeting and I see there's public comment, I'm still going to forward that on to you, even though it's less than 24 hours. But to give public notice, that you might not be able to do that. I think it's just more transparency.
And we do with our notices to the public, we do state that we encourage people to come in person. Sure.
Did we forget anything, Sarah? Robbie, thank you so much. You've been really, really helpful and responsive throughout this entire process.
Yeah, of course. That's my job, is to make your guys' job a little bit easier, especially in the technology aspect. So do not hesitate with more questions. Happy to do more, mock trials. You guys said it best. You are learning this. This may not be the perfect fit, but it could get you there. And just the more tests, the more trials, the more questions will help with that. So please do not hesitate to reach out. And if I don't have an answer, I will try to get you an answer.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, Robbie.
For those that are viewing, did you say you could see that? Or
On the side.
there's no, in terms of the public that may be viewing this,
They'll be able to see what's in that big red square.
yeah, that's what the public can see, but we can't see who's participating, who's watching, right?
No, not in real time. I don't know. Maybe Robbie knows the answer of whether we would get a list of attendees or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so you will get an attendee report. It has to be set up, configured for that, but that is something we can work with. It will just essentially give you a list of people that joined your meeting.
Okay.
Check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great if you can help us with that, Robbie. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Take care.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Thank you.
He's been really great.
He's been very responsive. We feel
Yeah. I know, sometimes we have trouble getting attention. Would you like to move on to subject 2 in updates and discussion?
Retreat topics. Continue.
Yes, thank you. So we love our yearly Civil Service Commission retreat, and this will be the third year for Commissioner Wyman-Williams, I think, or maybe more. Okay, and first year for soon to be Commissioner Wells and for Chair Caesar. And so, we have a couple of newbies here. And so we thought we might just talk about some topics and talk about things we may want to do again. Also, if we can talk about dates, I think, Teresa, you might have pulled together some dates to propose. We usually do a half day. It's like a 3-hour thing on site. It's been really good in the past. I've really gotten a lot out of it. Are you pulling up those dates, Teresa?
Yes, so it's the Mondays in October.
How do Mondays generally work for y'all? Thought we'd pair it with a meeting,
Yeah, generally,
or sub it in for a meeting.
generally fine because I've already reserved Monday afternoon.
And I'm fine, that's for us. If it's not on my calendar.
Okay.
So that would be October 20, you said check all the Mondays?
All the Mondays.
Okay.
7, 14, 21, and 28.
Yeah, right now I can do all of those.
7, 14.
And we are
Well,
looking.
14 is a non-work day,
Oh,
I
I'm
think.
sorry, the
Oh, that's-
14th is Indigenous Peoples' Day.
yes.
Yes.
And 7, you're out of town.
Then 21 and
21 and
21 and 28.
And the 21 is our regular meeting date. So we could just make it a long.
Um,
And we're looking, it's half day morning, mid-morning.
Let's do what works best for people.
half day afternoon would work better for me on the 21st. But the 28th I could do.
How about you, Commissioner Caesar?
no, 21st is fine. The 28th I'm open as well.
All right. And I'm gonna actually just. The other backup we have for, if we need to get somebody to participate in the meeting, but they're not on the schedule, is we can call them. And I'm going to call Denise and maybe she'll answer if she's still watching.
She was texting me. So
Oh, hello.
hi Denise.
Are you guys, or have me on speakerphone?
Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure out after the meeting why it didn't show up for you being a participant, but I thought we'd call because we're talking about scheduling for
I figured that.
the retreat. Yeah, what our regular meeting date is October 21st. Would that work for you for a longer meeting in the afternoon?
I think so. Let me look at my calendar really quick. Yeah, that
Wonderful.
works.
Look at this. We're gonna get it scheduled. Joe,
21st?
Yeah,
you good? Okay. Well, how about should we do like a 1 o'clock? How about we could do noon to 1 to 3 hours? So maybe noon to 3 or 1 to 4.
Whatever, I'm open that whole time.
Can we split the difference and do 12:30?
I'm sure we can,
I'll be,
if that works for Commissioner Caesar.
I'll be Capitol Hill in Seattle Center till 12.
12:30 to 3:30. Oh my gosh, I think we just did it.
And we'll order lunch.
We'll order lunch. We'll have a good time. Okay, great. How about, I think Teresa included some materials in your packet that were some suggestions for last year for topics. Those are at page 5. So Charlene McMillan suggested perhaps a deep dive into writing decisions. That may be a little further than I think we want to go this year. Joe just thinks we should listen to commissioners about what they want to talk about. Commissioner Porter said he liked it, and Commissioner Weidman Williams thought maybe we could do a mock appeal or a facilitated working session where we brainstorm outreach strategies. Okay, and then, I mean, we could also do, as we did last year, I love the history of the Civil Service Commission. I think it's really enlightening and it's pretty quick that Sarah Butler does. We could do a civil service, rules. We could dive into the rules. We could do talk about parliamentary procedure and how y'all want to run your meetings. If there's anything you want to change or clarify or learn. We could talk about outreach. I'm just tossing ideas out there.
I feel like because we have new commissioners, it's never wasted to go over the rules, Open Meetings Act and stuff like that, just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And kind of understand the baseline kind of legal responsibility.
Yeah.
So I think when we did this last year, it was on the assumption that we will have already done that work with the commission, but we have two new commissioners. So
Yeah.
it seems to make sense to me.
Yeah,
I have a question. Am I the only new person?
you'll be the newest.
No,
You're gonna be the newest. Commissioner Caesar was elected last year and he began his term this year. So he's new too.
All right, okay, good, because I was just gonna say on that topic, I'm really interested in some of the things I saw for the upcoming conference as it relates to what you just said, Andrea, for the history of the Civil Service Commission, but I don't necessarily need a refresh on the public records, the Public Meetings Act and that kind of stuff. If that's something that could follow up, so everyone knows that, because I'm pretty familiar with that.
Well, we may have to do, I don't know if we have to do it as part of the retreat, Denise, but we do, is it 60 days from the date of
Yeah.
appointment? You gotta get the training.
Yeah, the training, like the online
You wanna
training,
do
that's not a problem. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to waste everyone's time on a retreat doing something like that. That's something that could be, not necessary maybe.
What do you think, Joe?
Well, again, I think, to your point, this is something we've been doing kind of, on a yearly basis. So, and it is very important. And it is required by law. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Joe's got it down to a science. He's distilled it down to the perfect training that, what is it, like half an hour?
Yeah, we have
Okay.
Aaron do public records also.
Oh, yeah, and we get Aaron Valla in to do the public records.
Yeah.
He's always a hit.
I've been doing public disclosure for a long time, so I'm really familiar with all that. That's all I'm saying. I'm happy to do it. I don't mind. I just wouldn't want you to do it for my benefit. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, we're gonna do the PRA, we're gonna do the OPMA. I think we're gonna do a
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah.
It's not a 101, but like, we can delve into a couple of them. We're gonna do the history, and does anybody have something kind of different or fun they wanna do?
What I appreciated about our last retreat is that we had, both of them, but especially the last one, having it facilitated and then having just some time to kind of share with each other, get to know each other a little bit. And we don't have to, go too far down, that path. I know we have only 3 hours together, but having just some sort of general, particularly because, again, with new commissioners, it's just kind of good to meet each other.
Yeah, I will reach out and see if we can get somebody to help us facilitate this as well. I think that's a really good suggestion, Mary. It worked out really well. It was so beautiful the last couple of years that we did that. Okay, well, why don't we put together a draft agenda and send it out to y'all for your thoughts?
So clarification on the time again, that's 12:30 to
3:30.
3:30, and that would be inclusive of the monthly meeting, the regular meeting?
Yeah, we'll count that as our monthly meeting and we'll still, we'll actually be on the computer, allowing, well, we actually don't have to. We could discuss that. Sometimes we have done the retreat just in person and not facilitate it to be online. Actually, I think I like that better when we do the retreat. Everyone's in person.
And it'll be a special meeting because it's a different
Yeah.
time, different meeting, so.
But that will,
So basically you'll cancel. the
Cancel
regular-
the regular meeting.
Yeah.
I think that's what we did last time.
yeah. So that'll be our meeting for the month too. Well, thank you, everyone. I think those are some really good suggestions and I think we're all on the same page. It'll be fun. All right. I'm happy to move on to the next item, unless there's more discussion on that.
Next item of business, more of the budget and departmental updates.
Yes.
Continue on.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner appointment update. Last Thursday, Sarah Butler and I went to the Government Accountability City Council Committee meeting, and I'm so sorry, Denise, that you were not able to join us online. Was not feeling very well. And they also wanted to talk to you. I think Council President Nelson was
Looking forward to talking.
itching to get
She
get her.
said she's looking forward to interacting.
I know, I'm so sorry about that. I really would have been, it would have been pretty. that was my first day of COVID, so
No,
it was not a very good day.
I hope, you sound like you're feeling better.
I'm much better. I actually have like clothes on and I'm out of the house.
Good, good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, even though you weren't there, they did vote to recommend your appointment to the full council, and that will go to them for a vote on the 24th. So the Tuesday after tomorrow, next Tuesday.
Great.
And then, yeah, we expect you'll be joining us very soon. So congratulations on leaping over that hurdle.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your work on that. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. All right, the budget update. The budget process is still confidential. The mayor's not released his proposed budget, so I can't give you a lot of details there. But he will be, on the same day of Denise's appointment, he will be giving his budget speech and presenting his budget to the city council. I will have more information for you at that time, and I'll email all of the commissioners and staff about what's in there. There is a yearly budget report in your materials at page 6. And we are well within our spending allocated budget. Nothing unexpected from my perspective, but feel free to ask me any questions either in this meeting or outside of this meeting about our spending. Departmentally, we have been working on some budget decisions and follow-up. Sarah provided some information to our budget analysts today. We are also working, we don't have any appeals before the Civil Service Commission at this time. Sarah, if you'd like to, you can tell the commission a little bit about the outreach work you've been doing and some work around the website as well.
Sure. For outreach, I have reached out to 3 departments this year and made some good contacts with each of those. Kind of a student base to see what makes sense to these. I put together a 1-pager, which has been really helpful. Just getting a lot of asks for what you do, just something that's kind of easy to digest and something that can be circulated easily. So I have put that up on the website also and linked to it on LinkedIn and trying to get more active and learning more about LinkedIn, pushing out updates, getting some visibility.
I've been following on LinkedIn. It's good.
Yeah, we see you on there too.
There.
Yeah. We continue to post our meeting recordings on our YouTube site, trying to be really accessible to people who are interested in our work, who want to learn about us. I think it's interesting that Sarah's been talked a few months ago with the CARES department. That's a new department in the city of Seattle that has employees in the civil service, not in the public safety civil service though. And they didn't know very much about civil service. So I think she's really been able to get information out there. The truth is a lot of departments are focusing on other issues right now. You know, there's pretty serious budget issues in the city of Seattle. And so there hasn't been a ton of uptake on our offers to come out and speak to groups because it's just kind of not the right time.
Timing is everything.
Yeah. But meanwhile, actually the other work that you're doing is working on our website, sort of trying to streamline things. We have 2 pages we have one page that has meeting materials and one page that has the meeting schedule. She's merging those pages just to make things more user friendly and easier for employees and members of the public if they're interested. We're doing some work here in our space. We're getting some electrical improvements and doing a lot of work with the Public Safety Civil Service Commission, as we usually do, and the staff, trying to maintain service levels for police and fire departments. I mean, the good news, although not directly relevant to your work, but maybe interesting to you, is that applications for the police department have gone up 4-fold since early 2023. And so the attention that we were getting and sort of the focus on our work has shifted, I think, down the pipeline as we thought that it would, to the backgrounding process for police officer, because right now we have we are getting more applicants and people passing the police officer exam than the police department can handle. I don't mean that they literally can't handle it. It's just that the volume has been turned up. And so the attention on us has thankfully turned down a little bit. So we're also doing our best, the best we can to support that function in the police department and offer them any expertise or support that we can offer to them. What else, Teresa? Do you have anything to report? Oh, thank you. We're trying to keep the wheels on over here. Things are a little wild. I won't pretend that they aren't. But they have calmed down a little bit for us. All right, I'll proceed to the case status report, which is very short. We have not had any appeals filed with the Civil Service Commission since the last time we spoke. The only live appeal is Reichenbach v. SPU. This is the one that the commission delegated to the Office of Hearing Examiner. And the last I heard is that the parties were looking for a date to mediate the matter. Did you have a different update?
I just checked out OAG. Looks like there's still calendar and it's not the same.
That probably means they're still looking for that mediation date or looking forward to their mediation date, I hope. So pretty quiet on the appeals front for CSC. We did talk with the Office of Hearing Examiner and the actual hearing examiner, his name is Ryan Vansel. He said that he took a really close look at his agency's procedural rules in the past 2 years, and he wondered if we wanted to have any suggestions from him about ways that we might improve our own rules. We said, we'd be happy to look at your suggestions, hearing examiner. So he said that he would take a look and let us know what he thought in the next couple of quarters. So we're happy to consider his suggestion. I think also it would be, the reason he's suggesting it that might be beneficial is when we do delegate cases, they have to apply our rules. And so if he has any suggestions about clarity or how to sort of, our rules haven't been updated since the way we work has changed with technology. So if we can lift any suggestions from their rules that would make things clearer for appellants, we'll be happy to consider those. So there may be a rulemaking potentially coming in 2025.
It is kind of a side benefit to having this referral because the hearing examiner tells hearing us what they do constantly.
No, they do hundreds a year.
So they learn from that process, and so we can benefit from all the learning that they've done in recent years. And I think the hearing examiner's very well regarded and it's a very professional operation here at the city. So there's probably some really good ideas that they will hopefully have for us all to look at and consider. Great. Because the rules are always a work in progress also.
Yeah, and ours haven't been updated in 10 years. So there probably is a little bit of change that's happened.
It's even that the section 5.08, the delegation to OAG, that sentence is buried in. You just can't flip through the rules and find where OAG gets delegated our rules, so you really have to look for it. Yeah. So there's some tweaking.
Yeah, a lot of common sense improvements that could be made. Yeah, well, and that unless any other staff members have anything they'd like to add?
The meeting dates that for the next couple of months, they're going to fall off your calendar as I start scheduling in the town hall. So you'll see the WebEx ones fall off.
Yeah.
And then we have a joint meeting coming up in November that you may have seen and scheduled at City Hall, but we're going to have it here.
Oh, and speaking of that joint meeting, I can't remember if we spoke or if I emailed with you about, as the chair, you and Richard Green, the chair of the Public Safety Civil Service Commission, can do my performance evaluation. I am writing a self-evaluation, which I will share with you both in the next few weeks.
Yes, and I had written that down to bring up under new business anyway, but you brought it up. The previous chair of the Public Safety Civil Service Commission and myself put together kind of some high-level process notes about an approach toward doing the performance review. And so I assume those still live somewhere. So we intended that to be a help for whomever might be the chair of our respective commissions once we, in the event that we were not serving in that role the next go round. So at whatever point it seems appropriate for us to share that, or to be, because nobody, it was like nobody walked us through what we're supposed to do. So we said, we don't want to, not on our watch, we want to be able to.
Do you think I have those, or is that something I don't have?
I'm not sure, so
Why
we
don't I
should
take a look?
probably check.
I'll take a look, and then if
Okay.
I can't find whatever that
Okay.
is, or I don't know what you're talking about, I'll let you know, because I think I have that,
Okay,
and I can provide that to them, but also if
that'd be
you,
great.
if you have something else, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll dig those up and send those along with the self-evaluation materials for you and Commissioner Green.
Forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner Williams. Let's process notes. We only do it once a year, don't we?
Yes.
All right, and just for anyone's information, the purpose of the joint meeting is to discuss any joint business that the commissions have. And two of the items that you'll have, three of the items you'll have for joint business is one, to discuss and, finish or do my performance evaluation. The other is to vote on two things related to the performance of the executive director. Well, one's related to performance, that is executive days. Sorry, merit days, thank you. And then the other one is to vote on whether or not the executive director should get the AWI, the annual wage increase, that if one is negotiated by the city with the coalition of city unions.
Right, and so it would be helpful for us to have any information in terms of deadlines around that, because we have this joint meeting in November and we do not now have another regular meeting. We have our special meeting in October. So just thinking time-wise, schedule-wise, that just may be tricky.
With this, the other thing I was going to mention during my director's report, and I'm sure you've all received at least 40 emails about Workday. Workday, right?
Yeah.
Change management, we keep saying. Workday's new and it's a little bit bumpy, and our HR partners are working really, really hard to make sure everything goes well. Thank you both for your patience in figuring out the stipend payments. I hope you've been able to log on. Have you been able to log on? Good job. I'm sure you've logged on to Workday.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, verified your
Yes.
address, etc. And Teresa's also working very hard to make sure that those get set up correctly. Patience is the name of the game. So thank you for being patient. And we don't have any of those deadlines yet, but yes, I will seek to get them, and we will get them plugged in so commissioners know what they are, and we know what they are. Okay.
Well, thank you, Director Shelley. Any other questions for the director? Hearing none. Do we have some cleanup to do? Do we need to make a motion for canceling the regular meeting and the special meeting?
We need to vote on changing the time for the retreat to be a special meeting.
Probably be a good idea to officially cancel the meeting and then to set a special meeting.
So I then make a motion that we cancel the regular meeting for the Civil Service Commission in October and instead have a special meeting for the purposes of our retreat.
So there's a motion on the table to cancel a regular meeting in October the 21st and substitute a special meeting for the same time,
Starting at 12:30.
4:30 to 3:30.
starting at 12:30 to 3:30. Any questions? Hearing none, the motion is adopted.
Thank you, everyone.
The next order of business, I guess there's no old or new business.
I have a,
Oh, I'm sorry. You do have a business.
Civil Service Conference.
Oh, yeah.
In October, you received the link to register for the days that you're interested in attending.
Now, I had trouble in signing up today. I don't know why it said that something, in fact, I'm not a registered or something like that. You know, when you go in and you put your name and send it in and it never took it, but anyway, it's not the road, but
What days were you? Do you want to let me know what days you're interested?
it's a 2-day event, right?
Yeah, you want both days?
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically.
I'll see if I can register you,
Oh, okay.
and then I'll let you know.
Yeah, I tried to do that today.
Okay.
But thank you for sharing that.
So wait, let's see. Oh yeah, they both look like good days. Oh wait. The second day is actually really only related to public safety. That's October 2nd. I'm looking at the topics. Now this is planned topics, so you could register for both days and just not attend if it wasn't
Oh, I see.
relevant to you.
Okay.
But all of these topics, like DACA eligibility, CJTC, that's police, fire service recruiting, public safety testing, eligible register, those are probably not going to be very interesting or relevant for you. On
And
the
that's on
civil
the
service,
second, that's on the second,
that's October 2nd, right?
the October 1st is the one.
October 1st, I would say, do try to attend that one. Although I'm also looking, the public safety testing annual business meeting from 9 to 12.
Mhm.
That is not, that's about police officer
Mhm.
and correctional officer. But the basic training for new commissioners and staff from 1 to 4, that is what I think is gonna
That's
be
the main
valuable
one.
for you, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other new business?
yes, so it's kind of a follow-up on the previous conversation about the rules, because we've made the decision to delegate our cases until we had a full commission.
Mhm.
And so anticipating a favorable appointment vote for Commissioner-elect Wells, then at some point we'll need to circle back to that decision. So I just wanted to kind of state it for the record so that we don't kind of lose track of that conversation. That's not to say that we won't still need to do that for a while, but
Yeah, but maybe
sure
not
that
as
we
a
have,
blanket matter.
yes, yes.
Thanks. That's really
Thank you for
helpful.
sharing it. Any other new business? Hearing none.
No other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I so move.
It has been moved that the motion be adjourned. Any questions? Hearing none. The meeting is adjourned.
It is now approximately 2:45, 2:55?
2:52. I'm sorry.
No,
3:52.
She's in a whole nother.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not going swimming now. No, I think.
Okay.
All right, you guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
2 weeks.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.